On the Morning of Christ's Nativity, by John Milton. (1885) This is the month, and this the happy morn, Wherein the Son of Heaven's eternal King, Of wedded maid and Virgin Mother born, Our great redemption from above did bring. For so the holy sages once did sing, That he our deadly forfeit should release, And with his Father work us a perpetual peace. That glorious form, that light unsufferable, And that far-beaming blaze of majesty, Wherewith he wont at heaven's high council table To sit in the midst of trinal unity, He laid aside, and here with us to be, Forsook the courts of everlasting day, And chose with us a darksome house of mortal clay. Say, heavenly Muse, shall not thy sacred vein Afford a present to the infant God? Hast thou no verse, no hymn, or solemn strain, To welcome him to this his new abode, Now while the heaven, by the sun's team untrod, Hath took no print of the approaching light, And all the spangled host keep watch in squadrons bright? See how from far upon the eastern road The star-led wizards haste with odours sweet. O run, prevent them with thy humble ode, And lay it lowly at his blessed feet. Have thou the honour first thy Lord to greet, And join thy voice unto the angel choir, From out his secret altar touched with hallowed fire. The Hymn. It was the winter wild, While the heaven-born child All meanly wrapped in the rude manger lies. Nature in awe to him had doffed her gaudy trim, With her great Master so to sympathize. It was no season then for her To wanton with the sun her lusty paramour. Only with speeches fair she wooed the gentle air, To hide her guilty front with innocent snow, And on her naked shame pollute with sinful blame The saintly veil of maiden white to throw, Confounded, that her Maker's eyes Should look so near upon her foul deformities. But he her fears to cease Sent down the meek-eyed Peace. She crowned with olive green Came softly sliding Down through the turning sphere his ready harbinger, With turtle wing the amorous clouds dividing, And waving wide her myrtle wand She strikes a universal peace through sea and land. No war or battle's sound was heard the world around, The idle spear and shield were high up hung, The hooked chariots stood unstained with hostile blood, The trumpet spake not to the armed throng, And kings sat still with awful eye, As if they surely knew their sovereign Lord was by. But peaceful was the night Wherein the Prince of Light His reign of peace upon the earth began. The winds with wonder whist, Smoothly the waters kissed, Whispering new joys to the mild ocean, Who now hath quite forgot to rave, While birds of calm sit brooding on the charmed wave. The stars with deep amaze Stand fit in steadfast gaze, Bending one way their precious influence, And will not take their flight For all the morning light, Or Lucifer that often warned them thence, But in their glimmering orbs did glow, Until their Lord himself bespake, and bid them go. And though the shady gloom had given day her room, The sun himself withheld his wonted speed, And hid his head for shame, As his inferior flame The new enlightened world no more should need. He saw a greater sun appear Than his bright throne, or burning axle-tree, could bear. The shepherds on the lawn, Or ere the point of dawn, Sat simply chatting in a rustic row. Full little thought they then, That the mighty Pan was kindly come To live with them below. Perhaps their loves, or else their sheep, Was all that did their silly thoughts so busy keep. When such music sweet Their hearts and ears did greet, As never was by mortal finger strook, Divinely warbled voice answering the stringed noise, As all their souls in blissful rapture took. The air such pleasure loath to lose, With thousand echoes still prolongs each heavenly close. Nature, that heard such sound Beneath the hollow round Of Cynthia's seat, the airy region thrilling, Now was almost won To think her part was done, And that her reign had here its last fulfilling. She knew such harmony alone Could hold all heaven and earth in happier union. At last surrounds their sight A globe of circular light, That with long beams the shamefaced night arrayed. The helmed cherubim And sworded seraphim Are seen in glittering ranks with wings displayed. harping in loud and solemn choir with unexpressive notes to heaven's new-born heir. Such music, as 'tis said, before was never made, but when of old the sons of morning sung, while the Creator great his constellations set, and the well-balanced world on hinges hung, and cast the dark foundations deep, and bid the weltering waves their oozy channel keep. Ring out, ye crystal spheres, once bless our human ears, if ye have power to touch our senses so, and let your silver chime move in melodious time, and let the bass of heaven's deep organ blow, and with your ninefold harmony make up full consort to the angel-like symphony. For if such holy song enwrap our fancy long, time will run back and fetch the age of gold, and speckled vanity will sicken soon and die, and leprous sin will melt from earthly mould, and hell itself will pass away, and leave her dolorous mansions to the peering day. Yea, truth and justice then will down return to men, th' enamelled arras of the rainbow wearing, and mercy set between, throned in celestial sheen, with radiant feet the tissued clouds down steering, and heaven as at some festival will open wide the gates of her high palace hall. But wisest fate says no, this must not yet be so, the babe lies yet in smiling infancy, that on the bitter cross must redeem our loss, so both himself and us to glorify. Yet first to those chained in sleep the wakeful trump of doom must thunder through the deep, with such a horrid clang as on Mount Sinai rang while the red fire and smouldering clouds outbreak. The aged earth aghast with terror of that blast, shall from the surface to the centre shake, when at the world's last session the dreadful Judge in middle air shall spread his throne. And then at last our bliss full and perfect is, but now begins, for from this happy day th' old dragon underground in straiter limits bound, not half so far casts his usurped sway, and wroth to see his kingdom fail, swings the scaly horror of his folded tail. The oracles are dumb, no voice or hideous hum runs through the arched roof in words deceiving. Apollo from his shrine can no more divine, with hollow shriek the steep of Delphos leaving. No nightly trance or breathed spell inspires the pale-eyed priest from the prophetic cell. The lonely mountains o'er, and the resounding shore, a voice of weeping heard, and loud lament. From haunted spring and dale, edged with poplar pale, the parting genius is with sighing sent. With flower inwoven tresses torn, the nymphs in twilight shade of tangled thickets mourn. In consecrated earth and on the holy hearth the Lars and Lemurs moan with midnight plaint. In urns and altars round a drear and dying sound affrights the flamens at their service quaint, and the chill marble seems to sweat while each peculiar power forgoes his wonted seat. Peor and Baalim forsake their temples dim, and that twice battered god of Palestine, and mooned Ashtaroth, heaven's queen and mother both, now sits not girt with tapers' holy shine. The Libyc Hammon shrinks his horn, in vain the Tyrian maids their wounded Thammuz mourn. And sullen Moloch fled, hath left in shadows dread his burning idol all of blackest hue. In vain with cymbals ring they call the grisly king, in dismal dance about the furnace blue. And brutish gods of Nile as fast, Isis and Orus, and the dog Anubis hast. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.